Okay, so there's been some controversy surrounding Gina Carano and Krystal, a woman who's apparently involved in Star Wars: The High Republic, I believe, making some controversial tweets online. And I don't really want to talk about tweets too much because I have no interest in Twitter. Well, very little interest in Twitter. Like, occasionally when someone tweets something controversial, I'll look at the screenshot, and that's kind of the extent of the interactions I want to have with Twitter. But it doesn't really matter what the tweets were. It matters that they were allowed to make them in the first place, and that Disney, it seemed like Gina Carano and Krystal have two different ideologies, and they're both a little bit extreme in both areas. Krystal's more left leaning, so she tweets about the current woke issues of the day, sexuality, gender, and race, and Gina Carano is more right wing, so I believe she tweets her support for Trump or something like that. And essentially there's these two ideologies, and it seemed like Disney, the official Disney Twitter account, took a side by saying like I side with Krystal against bullying, but Krystal is an extreme, so if you look at her Twitter account, she says pretty bad things about white people, men and women, just white people in general. So by saying I side with Gina Carano on this issue, they're kind of implying that they're saying that bullying is fine as long as it's against white people. Now, part of me thinks that the reason Disney is allowing these people to be on Twitter and say these things is to promote their shows and to promote what they're doing with Star Wars. But thinking about it logically, I don't think that's the case, because it doesn't seem like controversy is really driving up too much sales for Disney. It's actually driving fans away. Like, people say there's no such thing as bad publicity. And I think that The Rise of Skywalker probably proves that isn't the case, because it had remarkably lower returns than Last Jedi, which was hugely controversial. And I don't think Disney was really successful again until, with Star Wars anyway, until The Mandalorian and a new Star Wars game generated positive publicity. So I think that getting positive publicity should be more important than getting negative publicity. And I think that Disney should maybe encourage these people to maybe not tweet these kind of things on Twitter, like, once they get signed on by Disney, or at least apologize to them, and maybe Disney shouldn't stand with one person or another. Just say well, actually, don't say anything. Like, you're in a business relationship with them, not necessarily in a personal relationship. I'm kind of rambling. I don't really have much of a point here, because there's really not much to talk about that hasn't been discussed ad nauseum. But I do think that the politics don't matter too much. Neither of them is necessarily wrong, and neither of them is necessarily right. Like, I can understand why a minority person would feel like life isn't fair. It's something we all have to accept at some point. And I guess if you're a minority, you have the luxury of saying an easy target, right? Like saying my life isn't fair because of racism. And if you're a white person, then you have, well, you don't have an easy target, so you have to kind of, pick your targets. Some of them, unfortunately, look at the woke things, like, the diversity hires and things, yeah, and go, life isn't fair because of those immigrants, or some people, I guess, the white SJWs go, life isn't fair because of the racists and the sexists and all that stuff, and the billionaires who rig the system specifically to screw me and people like me over. So, in that sense, I guess you could kind of see why the white SJWs who I just mentioned would have common ground with the minorities, and that's probably why it's gotten so big lately, because that's obviously a much bigger group than the racist people, the uber conservatives who are against immigration. That was a bit of a tangent, but I can see where both sides are coming from, and maybe if they made their point in a more rational way, there might not be a controversy and we could all have a nice discussion about it, but they don't. They insult the other side, I guess because they're angry, or because they think that controversy is the best way to, anger is the best way to, start a discussion, when it really isn't, because, anger clouds your judgment. I've certainly said and typed things that I regret deeply when I was angry, for instance. I'm going on a lot of tangents here, so I'm just gonna end it with this thought. These people on Twitter that Disney hires, Ryan Johnson, Krystal, Gina Carano, occasionally Kathleen Kennedy, although she's more mature than people give her credit for, I think. At least that's the image I have of her. They act like teenagers on Twitter, not adults. And if they're gonna continue to act like teenagers, I think that Disney should treat them like teenagers by having an adult moderate their tweets, and requiring these people, these controversial tweeters, to have their tweets approved before they're able to post them. Those are my thoughts on the issue. I'll talk to you next time.